Once upon a time, the color of your skin determined where you ate, who you were friends with, where you went to school, where you shopped, and even how you rode on the bus or what water fountain you drank from. In the 1950s, being a person of African American descent meant that you had to drink from different water fountains than white people did. And oftentimes, those water fountains were small and rarely worked. But what about school? And why isn't the United States like this anymore? In the 1950s, the United States was segregated, meaning that under the Plessy versus Ferguson case, everything could be separate, but had to be of equal quality, which meant that a school a black student went to had to be just as good as a school a white person went to, but this was not the case. A little girl named Linda Brown lived 3 blocks from a white elementary school, but every day she had to walk over a mile across a dangerous rail yard to get to a small schoolhouse. The schoolhouse had broken windows, old books, and the heater rarely worked in the wintertime. Linda's teachers were not paid as much as white teachers, and Linda and her classmates were extremely unhappy and confused as to why the world was this way. They did not understand why everything had to be this way. Why couldn't they have new books? Why did their teachers have to look so sad because they weren't making the kind of money that they were supposed to? Why did they have to walk so far just to get to school, when there was a closer school with better books and happier teachers? Jim Crow laws were created to uphold the ideas set forth by the Plessy versus Ferguson Supreme Court case of the 1800s. It stated that blacks and whites had to have separate but equal public facilities, which included everything from schools and restaurants to bathrooms and water fountains. But black Americans were still treated unequally, and their so-called equal facilities were inferior to those of whites. Linda's father, Oliver Brown, became angry with the Topeka Board of Education when they would not allow Linda to go to the all-white school that was closer and safer for her to get to from home. A bunch of black parents got together and decided to contact the NAACP for help. The NAACP stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, and was founded in 1909 and strives to find equal rights for African Americans. The ultimate goal of Linda's father and others like him was to integrate the schools, and being integrated meant that both black students and white students could go to the same school without fear of persecution. A lawyer from the NAACP named Thurgood Marshall was called to represent the Brown case in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. Once the case hit the Supreme Court, the parents and their children readied for the verdict. After the death of one of the justices, the verdict was reached, with a ratio of 9-0. Segregation in public schools was now illegal. The immediate answer was to integrate schools in hopes of starting anew. In her newly integrated classroom, Linda could now talk to the white girl sitting next to her for the first time. And in the end, skin color shouldn't matter, and this landmark case proves it.